On live on TikTok.
We are live.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Kat, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'll tell you what, I feel a lot better right now than I did this time last week about the rates.
Oh, yeah?
Feeling much.
Are they a tad lower right now, Dan?
Oh, they came down nicely the last 2-3 days ever since the CPI report. Oh, it's been so nice. It's taken some pressure out of the situation, you know.
You feel like not as embarrassed telling clients what the interest rates are now?
No, I'm still pretty embarrassed by it. There's not, but it's not as bad. But it's a starting point, you know. It's a starting point. So, so yeah, I'm still not bragging about anything. I'll tell you that much right now. But anyway, we will. Let's start with because one thing we've been talking about and talking about behind the scenes, and let's get right to it. Is the hot start to the year as far as some of these stats coming in are really hot numbers. I mean, for January 14th, I think is where we're dated. They're hot.
Pretty good numbers. And actually the data is actually from December still that we're reporting on today. But I also have some January data that is going to knock your socks off. So the market is off like a rocket ship, which is what we said was a good possibility of happening here in King and Snohomish counties. You want to dive into it, Dan?
Let's get into it. King County, first on the list.
Let's talk about King County. So let's see here. We got 48% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between December 29th and January 4th. So that's a big number. That's within the first 7 days. And you guys, that's December 29th to January 4th. So those numbers are going up from there. I promise you that. So
you did a little recon, didn't you, this week?
I did a little recon this week. We dived into the effectiveness of offer review dates in King County. And boy, oh boy, you should be setting an offer review date if you have a really nicely prepared property for the market and you're priced well. I got to tell you, offer review dates are everything right now. So when I was looking at the data and I was talking to agents that had listings that went pending in the first 7 days, we were seeing 10, 20, 26 offers.
You know what? Let's bring that up right now. Let's see. If you did a little study on offer review dates here.
I did. What I did is I looked at sellers that listed their home between January 6th and January 10th. And then the ones that set offer review dates, I put in one cart, and the ones that did not set offer review dates, I put in another cart. And in King County, 72 sellers set offer review dates, and 119 sellers did not. Of those 72 that set offer review dates, 76% were under contract within their offer review date or 1 day later, which meant that they probably got multiple offers on their offer review date and they were just reviewing with the seller.
Wow.
So 76% versus 47% of sellers got under contract within the first 6 or 7 days if they did not set an offer review date. So that's a disparity. What is that? 29%? Yeah, that's a disparity of 29%.
That's a big number.
It is a big number. And so what that means is that there's really a good likelihood that you should be setting an offer review date if you live in King County and you have the market that would warrant that, right? So not every single market is going to warrant setting an offer review date and not every single home. So typically, if you're professionally staged and you actually have gone through and properly prepared your house for market, neutral paint throughout, critical, potentially updated light fixtures, not necessary, but good idea. And then, everything else has been done. The roof is clean, gutters have been clean, the exterior's been clean, the sidewalks have been cleaned. You've got the windows have been nice and sparkly. And then, of course, gone through and had the interior spruced up. And if carpets need replacing, then the carpets have been replaced. So that's a big deal for buyers. And if the interior needs repainting or freshening up, then you can do that as well. So if your home is in very nice selling condition, then you should be setting an offer review date right now. So
wow, that's good to know.
Yeah. So of that 72 listings of sellers that set offer review dates, 24% of them are still on the market. So we had about a quarter of them miss their offer review date, but that's not too bad.
Yeah.
That to me says there's a really good chance that you get under contract in that first week. It's worth setting the offer review date. So anyway, interesting stuff. 53% of those that did not set offer review dates are still on the market. So if I'm putting a listing on the market and I've got it properly prepared and priced well, then we're going to be setting an offer review date. And that will make a lot of sense. And buyers are prepared. They're waiving everything, which, of course, I do not ascribe to. I think best practices, you do not waive your inspection. You go ahead and have an inspection for yourself as a buyer before you make your offer, if it's a multiple offer situation, or hopefully the seller has already procured an inspection that they can share with the buyers. So I also don't ascribe to waiving your financing. I think that's a huge mistake. You just never know what might happen down the road, or releasing your earnest money directly to the seller. So those are my pet peeves in this kind of a market. Buyers will do what they want, but it's under my watch. Usually we can make it happen without you doing all those things. And one way to do that actually is to submit an early offer. And got to pay more for the house, but hopefully we get to keep our financing in play, an inspection possibly if they don't have an inspection, and we don't have to release earnest money. So just keep that in mind. And then also we would want to have be fully underwritten prior to submitting your offer. So you would want to go ahead and get fully underwritten with your lender. Right, Dan?
Yes, that's correct, Kat.
Some lenders have a little hesitation getting a buyer fully underwritten, but it can be worth its weight in gold, especially if you're coming in with an early offer, so you don't have to compete against other buyers. Again, sellers don't know where their final price would be with the multiple offer situation on their offer review date, so they may be open to accepting an early offer. Yep, you're going to have to pay over asking, but can be a way to get into a house. So just be prepared. Those offers are going up to 37% over in King County. They're going more between 5 and 15% over. So don't think that every offer situation is going to go that high. So anyway, but I just think that's really interesting. I think that offer review dates were not effective last July. Not effective. And I don't think most people realize that there was a big percentage of sellers setting offer review dates last July, and they were not very effective. We had over half missing their offer review dates. And so that's a situation where you might consider not setting an offer review date. So January 2025, it's okay. Okay, so that's King County. Oh, wait a minute. We haven't finished King County. So we had 46% of sellers get under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and 28th. And so that's during the holiday, you guys. So, but we still had a fair number of the people that did decide to go on the market during the holiday season. About half of them got under contract within the first 7 days and within the first 14 days. So depending on which set of weeks there it was. 39% of sellers did set offer review dates that last week. And we had 28% of the sold listings sold over list price. So that's not been as common recently, right? Just 28%. I would say that number is going to go up dramatically in January. So once we get the January data in February, right? And then we have 1.3 months supply of inventory in King County. So that's King County in a snapshot.
Well, it's starting the year off hot. I don't think there's any question about it.
It
You
is.
can just there's little things within these stats. If you break them down, you know what you're looking for. Like when you have the 1 week above the 2 weeks, it tells you that the 1 week was shooting up fast and kind of dragging. You're going to start to see the effects with the next report on the 2 week. I think that'll go up commensurate.
It's gonna take a couple weeks before we can get into the January data with the 2 week, because we have to go back 2 weeks, right, for the 2 to 4 weeks for that 2 week data, and the 1 week data we just have to go back 7 days. So this next 7 days, so the data that we report on when I pulled data on Sunday, that's going to be reflective of January, and it's going to be hot. King and Snohomish County. So, oh, for some reason they said my sound isn't working on TikTok. Oh, I wonder why. That would be weird. I wonder if I have my volume down or something. Oh, I did have my volume down. Oh, thanks for letting me know, you guys. Can you hear me now? Just like the commercial. Oh my God, I can't believe all that. I can't believe I've been talking this long and they couldn't hear me. That means it's probably not going to show up on my recording either. Dang it, Dan. Shoot. All right, well, if we have time, we'll go back over King County since nobody could hear me. All right. What do you think? Moving on to Snohomish, Dan?
I think that's a good idea, Kat. Snohomish, right? Hang on.
Yes, just in case we run out of time.
Not Mason, not Bear.
I'd like to go back over King County if we get a chance, because I didn't have my volume up.
Okay.
Okay, Snohomish County. So 50% of sellers got under contract if they listed their 50% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between December 29th and January 4th. 49% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. 29% of sellers in Snohomish County set offer review dates last week. 33% of sellers got over asking price for listings that sold 30 to 60 days ago. Or actually ones that closed 0 to 30 days ago, right? The last 30 days.
Right.
And then we have 1.1 month supply of inventory in Snohomish County, and that has ticked up a tad. So, but let's really quickly, let's go over the effectiveness of offer review dates in Snohomish County. We've got some phenomenal data here. I hope you guys can hear me. Hi, TikTokers. We're live on TikTok. You guys ask me questions if you have any real estate related questions. Agents, buyers, sellers, feel free to jump in. Okay, so effectiveness of offer review dates in Snohomish County, it's kind of crazy out there. So I talked to just about every single agent that had a listing that had set an offer review date. There were only a couple that did not get back to me. We had 27 sellers set offer review dates, and we had, oh my gosh, so many people got between 5 and 26 offers in Snohomish County. So it's pretty incredible. It helped if you had a seller procured inspection that yielded a higher number of offers. But we'll see at the end of the day where those end up closing at and who actually got the most money. My guess is if you had a seller procured inspection, you're getting a better choice of offers as a seller. So 74% of those sellers in Snohomish County that set offer review dates last week made their offer review date. So almost all of them got multiple offers. There were a couple that only received 1 or 2. But I got to tell you, set an offer review date in Snohomish County if you have a property that is properly prepared for market and is going to be priced well. So priced in the pack, right? So you got to be priced where your competition is priced. Only 48% of sellers that did not set an offer review date were under contract within the first 6 or 7 days. So there's a big disparity there, right? 74 versus 48. So what is that? 28% different? 26% difference? 26% more percent of sellers got under contract if they set an offer review date than if they did not. So that to me says you should be setting an offer review date in Snohomish County if you have a property that warrants it, right? So,
Right.
and a listing agent, just saying. So you listing agents should be setting offer review dates if you've got properly prepared property for the market and a seller who's priced well. Okay, so of those that set offer review dates, only 19% are still on the market. Now we did have, I believe we had one that's temporarily off the market, and I think we had a contingent offer in that group too. So that's
okay.
part of that. One person received an early offer in Snohomish County. So early offers are not commonplace yet, but they should become more so as buyers get weary from competing with 19 other offers. You're going to see more buyers willing to go ahead and plunk down 10 to 20% over asking price for a property just to get it under contract without competing. And remember, that gives you options, right? Because at that point you could just be fully underwritten, right? That's important to get your offer accepted prior to the offer review date. But hopefully you can still keep your financing in play. You don't have to release earnest money to the seller and making it non-refundable. Hopefully the seller has an inspection, or you're allowed to have an inspection on the property. That may not be the case if you're trying to get them to accept an early offer, but it's certainly worth a try. Or you go ahead and have your inspection prior to making that offer, which is what I would recommend if the seller is not providing an inspection, because I always want you to have an inspection. If you're going to buy a home, you have to have an inspection, guys. Don't waive that. That's just foolish. Too many horror stories out there. Don't do it. And then the ones that set offer review dates, only 19% missed their offer review date. So it's kind of a big deal in Snohomish County. Go ahead and set that offer review date. Okay. That's Snohomish. How about Pierce, Dan? Should we do Pierce?
Let's do Pierce. Hang on. Let me find the Pierce stuff.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
There we go.
TikTokers, let me know. Somebody told me my volume wasn't working. If you guys could just, hi, Christian. Hi, Sam Sunder. Kenneth. Hey, guys. Okay. All right. So Pierce County, 39% of sellers that I'm getting tongue tied. 39% of sellers in Pierce County oh my God, can't talk. 39% of sellers in Pierce County that listed their home went under contract within the first 7 days on the market. If they listed their home between December 29th and January 4th, gosh, I barely got that out. 38% of sellers in Pierce County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. Only 21% of sellers in Pierce County set offer review dates, and we'll go over that in just a second as to whether that's a good idea to set an offer review date or not in Pierce County. 35% of homes in Pierce County did sell over list price in the last 30 days, the ones that closed. And we have 1.4 months supply of inventory in Pierce County. So let's talk really quickly about offer review dates, the effectiveness of offer review dates in Pierce County. This is a little bit different story than what we have in King and Snohomish counties. So for offer review dates, 55% of those sellers that set offer review dates in Pierce County did get under contract within their offer review date or plus 1 day, right? 32% of those sellers that did not set offer review dates went under contract within the first 6 or 7 days. So there is a disparity there, but listen to this. 45% of sellers missed their offer review date in Pierce County. So is it worth burning through 5 or 6 or 7 days of market time to set that offer review date if at the end of the day you're going to miss it, or there's almost a 50% chance of missing it? And that's where it gets kind of dicey, because that first 7 days is really important. As you guys all know, market time costs sellers money, and I have the data for that, and it's devastating. So you're going to get a lot more money for your home if you sell it within the first 7 days than if it takes you 14 days. So you need to really consider whether you have that house that is worthy of setting an offer review date in Pierce County. For instance, the landlord. What's going on over there, Dan?
You caught me.
Sounds like he's got a Slurpee over there, guys.
I didn't think you were paying attention.
Oh no, I'm paying attention, Dan. So anyway, so Pierce County has to be really cautious about setting offer review dates. You have to have that really special property, guys. Be careful. Be careful with those offer review dates. They can come back and bite you in the butt, because nobody knows 7 days later that you'd set an offer review date. You're taking that off, right? Your listing agent going to remove the fact that you had set an offer review date, and now it's going to be reviewing offers upon receipt in that field, and no one's going to know that you actually set an offer review date and why no one's made an offer on your property. And it becomes a lot less appealing the second week on the market. So anyway, think about it.
Well, it's not a hard decision when it's like in King County, it was like 75-25 or something like that. But when you're getting like here, you're looking at 55-45, the odds change a little bit. They change quite a bit.
Yeah. And so all those sellers, that 45% of sellers, they burn that market time, right? And that's a scary thing to do. There's always the hybrid you can try. So if you don't know how your house is going to fare in the marketplace, don't set an offer review date. Let's test the market. So just review offers upon receipt on the listing and hold it open on Friday, right? Maybe Thursday, but for sure on Friday, see what the traffic is like. Friday evening, preferably 4 to 6, somewhere in there. And then go ahead and schedule open house for, 11 to 1 or 10 to 12 on Saturday. See what the interest is. And, if it looks like it's just off the charts and people are asking you for a copy of the inspection and calling with questions like they're going to write an offer, then it could be worthwhile at that point to go ahead and set that offer review date and let those agents that have been through the house and the clients that have been through the house, let them know that you have now set an offer review date on that property. It could be as soon as Sunday or Monday. It wouldn't be your typical offer review date because you wouldn't want to upset potentially a buyer that maybe is already in the process of writing an offer. So putting them out until Tuesday might upset a buyer, but setting one for Sunday or Monday might not be such a bad idea if you've got a lot of interest. So that's one way to sort of test the market without setting an offer review date up front. And that's something I would do going forward if I were in Pierce County for sure. And if I had a property in Snohomish or King County that I wasn't 100% sure would get multiple offers, I might try testing the market, which would not involve setting an offer review date out the gate. It would involve just reviewing offers upon receipt that Thursday, Friday, and take a look at the activity. If it looks like you might get multiple offers, then it could be a good idea to go ahead and set that offer review date for Sunday or Monday, depending on when those buyers are talking about submitting. Hopefully you've got more than one if you're going to do that. Right. So that's one way to handle that if you're not 100% sure that you're going to get multiple offers. So
that's a great strategy.
It really is. Really, again, it really works best if the seller has gone ahead and had a seller procured inspection completed that they can now hand out to buyers. So the buyers do not feel obligated to go through and have an inspection prior to submitting their offer. Buyers get burned out really fast on spending $650 inspection for houses that they may not be able to secure, may not be able to get their offer accepted on. That money starts to add up really quickly. You get 3 houses down the road and you're $1,800, almost $2,000 to the negative, and that comes right out of your down payment, right? So that can make a big difference on what a buyer can actually afford at the end of the day. So you can keep, and a lot of times buyers are making more than 3 or 4 offers. So hopefully they're not paying for inspections for all those. So sellers have inspections for those buyers, because listen, you don't want the buyer not having an inspection on the house they're buying. You don't want that. It's bad enough you're providing the inspection, but it's a heck of a lot better than the buyer not getting an inspection at all. And I see all kinds of houses going straight to pending, and those sellers have not provided an inspection. I'm just hoping those buyers actually had an inspection prior to getting their offer accepted. So anyway, we have no way of knowing that from the data. So I can look at I can determine from the listing usually if there is a seller procured inspection. But when there's not a seller procured inspection, it's hard for me to be able to tell whether the buyer actually had an inspection unless I talk to the agents directly and they volunteer that information. So normally they don't. Okay, so how about Skagit County? What do you think about that, Dan?
Skagit. Oh, let's see what we got here. I'm trying to find I'm finding everything except Skagit. Wait a minute here.
Oh, you know what? We should be on Mason. Let's do Mason. That's the right order of things.
Wait a minute here. Here's Skagit. Okay.
All right, let's do Skagit next. All right. Hey, you guys, ask me questions. When I work with Windermere, Kat Howard here with Windermere Real Estate in Woodinville, Washington. If you guys didn't know, Dan Mellis is here with Nexa Mortgage. They have more programs for anything real estate that you can cook up, including tiny homes and Airbnbs, you name it, they can find financing for it. So Dan Mellis with Nexa Mortgage is a great resource. He's pretty much declared a vow of poverty to make sure that my clients get the best rates possible.
Well, thank you.
He's a great resource.
Thank you for the kind words, Kat. I do appreciate it very much. Thank you. me and my vow of poverty. Yes. So you know what?
I just can't argue with it.
I've got a new nickname for myself. The mortgage monk. The monk. See that?
The monk of mortgage.
The monk of mortgage. Yes, the monk of mortgage.
His vow of poverty. There are all kinds of vows you can take, but whoever heard of a vow of poverty? Myself, I'm not taking a vow of poverty. Don't get any bright ideas, guys. I like to go pay my bills. Anyway, okay. Skagit County. Let's do that. So let's do it. What do we got? 33% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between December 29th and January 4th. And we had 25% of sellers get under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. Only 10% of sellers in Skagit County set offer review dates, which makes sense. They probably should not be setting an offer review date unless they have that spectacular property with a great view or there's something very, very phenomenal about it. So 20% of listings sold over asking price in Skagit County in the last 30 days of closings. So not very many, but some. And they have 1.5 months supply of inventory in Skagit County. All right, that's Skagit County. All right, Mason, you guys have any questions for Dan or I? I think my phone is crooked. I think I'm crooked on TikTok. Uh-oh. All right, Mason County. So 50% of sellers in Mason County got under contract within the first 7 days on market if they listed their home between December 29th and January 4th. Only 13% of sellers got under contract within the first 2 weeks on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. So Mason County slowed down over Christmas. That totally makes sense. Don't list your property during the holidays, guys.
Yeah,
it's very dicey. It can work to your advantage, but not normally.
You know what? I've just figured out that when you say it's dicey over the holidays like that, it really means that it's kind of not too smart. Just not too smart.
It's the problem is that there may be some people looking. I've had people looking over the holidays, but it's don't do it. There's not very many. You wait a couple weeks, you get into that second, third week of January, and your odds jump up. Yeah, you're going to have a little more competition, but not that much.
Right.
not that much competition. You're going to still be just fine. And you might actually get well over asking price if you wait a little bit. You're not probably going to get multiple offers as much over the Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving.
If you're thinking about it in December, you're better off doing it in mid-January if
Just
you can.
Wait 3 weeks, wait 4 weeks. Don't jump in January and December. That's a mistake. It's going to be tough in January for appraisers, right? So the appraisals may come in low if you go very far over asking price. So that's something you need to think about when you're accepting offers from buyers. Make sure they're covering the difference between a low appraisal and the purchase price. It's called an AD, additional down. So when you're a seller and you're accepting an offer in January, it's much more difficult for an appraiser to justify that price unless you do actually have a lot of multiple offers, and in which case we can leave those on the table for the appraiser. So the appraiser is aware that there were multiple offers that justify the higher price. So we do have that in our back pocket that we can do. So that's useful. So the average days on market in Mason County was 76 days. And that was for sold. That's not active listings. That's actually sold listings. So 24% of listings did sell over asking price in Mason County in the last 30 days of closed. I will say that's mostly due to buyers tacking on a little bit, a few percentage points to cover some of their closing costs is typically what that's about. So although they show that they've got some closings over asking price, a few of those will be due to multiple offers. Most of those will be due to buyers tacking on a little bit for closing costs. And then their Mason County's month supply of inventory is at 2.2 months, which is nearly a balanced market. It's pretty slow right now in Mason County. But the really nice homes, the really nice listings will sell quickly. So keep that in mind. People that are looking at Mason County, it's gorgeous, gorgeous county. Great views down there, Shelton. They've got some beautiful parks on the water. Oh my gosh. So anyway, Mason County, lovely. Okay.
Cool.
Kitsap County. Boy, we're running out of time here fast, Dan.
We are. Let's see here. Kitsap. There we are. Kitsap County.
Kitsap County. Then we're going to go back to King. I'm going to be late for my girls' date. Going to a girlfriend's house for happy hour, and we're going to be late. And sorry, Gail. I'll get to when I get there. Okay, I'm going to finish the stats. Kitsap. All right, so. Sellers that listed their home between December 29th and January 4th got under contract. Oh, geez, I gotta start over. 33% of sellers that listed their home between December 29th and January 4th got under contract within the first 7 days on the market. So that's 33%. That's a pretty good number. Again, that's last week of December into the first week of January. Not reflective of what's actually happening right now, which is we are taking off like a rocket ship. Just saying. Okay. Now this is a good number for Kitsap County for the holidays. 57% of sellers in Kitsap County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. So look at Kitsap going during the holidays. But again, they're not going to be getting as much for their home in December during the holidays than you would if you wait till January, February. So you have the luxury of timing the market. Not everybody does. But if you have the luxury, talk to your realtor, call me, we can chat. I can tell you when's a better time to list your home. To get you the most money for your bang for your buck, right? Get you the most money. So 26% of sellers in Kitsap County set offer review dates. 25% of homes sold over asking price in Kitsap County over the last 30 days of closed sales. And they have 1.4 months supply of inventory. That has been ticking up every single week for weeks now. So they were down to, I think, 1 month about a month ago, and it's just been ticking up. They still have a good market, very strong market. So let's talk about the effectiveness of offer review dates in Kitsap County. So it's a smaller populous county, so the data is not as much data, but still a fair amount. So there we go. Dan's got it up on the market. There was only 6 sellers that set offer review dates. Half of them made their offer review date. So, but we had half that didn't. So again, you're going to have that conversation with your seller as a listing broker, and to decide whether it's worth potentially 50% odds of burning 5 to 6 days on the first 5 to 6 days on the market, running off potential buyers, when only there's a 50% chance that you would get under contract. So if you don't have that rambler or that spectacular view, it may not be worth setting that offer review date, because 53% of sellers that did not set offer review dates got under contract within the first 5 or 6 days on the market. So, hey, more of those got under contract than the ones that set offer review dates. So again, I would probably discourage most sellers from setting offer review dates in Kitsap County unless you have that spectacular home or that spectacular property with a great view, and you're really, really well prepared for the market with professional staging and all the things. So if you want to know what all the things are, DM me and I will send you my successful formula for getting your home prepared for the market.
13 things are on that list. 13.
Yeah.
But except for only 12 of them show up in the in the booklet, and then there's a 13th that's sort of a secret that you have to talk to Kat about.
It's not a secret. It's not really a secret, but we're cautioned about how we mention it.
Yes.
So, but what it involves is that 13th item is it, and I'm just going to say it. It involves, how much do you offer the buyer broker? Because there's a lot of ways to go about that now. You can actually just say, hey, buyer broker, have your buyer, and you decide what you want to ask for your compensation from the seller. So you can submit your offer with just asking for what you want. The seller's not saying what they're willing to pay, but the buyer broker needs to ask for what they need to be paid to represent their buyer. So they probably already have a contract with that buyer in the form of a buyer brokerage services agreement. And so that's probably already been laid out, and the buyer's probably already discussed that with their broker. They should have. And so it can be submitted with their offer at that point. So another thing a seller could do is a seller can offer a fixed amount of compensation. So it can be $1, it could be $10,000, it could be a percentage of the sales price. And so then obviously the buyer broker at that point can decide whether they want to accept that amount that the seller is offering for buyer broker compensation, or if for some reason their buyer is asking for, or if they expect more compensation what the seller is asking, then that needs to be included in their offer, right? The buyer's offer. But the seller has many options now that they didn't have before. You always had the option of offering whatever you wanted as a seller, right? You always had that option. What we didn't typically do is we didn't say, hey, you submit with your offer whatever you want, buyer broker. And so that's kind of partly how it's changed. But anyway, so that's the 13th item on how to prepare your property, your property for market properly, is making the decision on how to compensate the buyer's broker. So it's a big conversation now, and I don't mind having it. But I have statistics. Anyway, there we go. There's that. Okay, really quickly, King County, Dan. Let's go back to King County since I didn't have volume.
Okay, let's go back to King County.
And then
hang on here. I think this one's King.
Okay.
There we go. Yep, there we go.
So 48% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January 29th between December 29th and January 4th. Is that right? I did that right. Okay.
Yeah.
46% of sellers in King County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between December 15th and December 28th. 39% of sellers in King County set offer review dates last week. 28% of homes sold over asking price in the last 0 to 30 days of closed sales in King County. And King County has 1.3 months supply of inventory. So let's hit the effectiveness of offer review dates in King County really quickly. So of the sellers that set offer review dates in King County, there was 72 sellers set offer review dates in King County between January 6th and January 10th. So of those, we had 76% of those received an offer or multiple offers. They are under contract. 76% of those that set offer review dates are under contract within the first 5 or 6 days. So that's a big number. As opposed to those that did not set offer review dates, only 47% of those sellers were under contract in the same length of time by January 16th, which was yesterday.
Yes, it was yesterday.
So we have a disparity of 29% there. So, it's, it looks like you have 29% better odds of getting under contract within the first 5 or 6 days if you set an offer review date, is what it looks like. So you only have 13% of sellers missed their offer review date in King County. We had a contingent, I think we had a contingent, a temporary off market situation in there. But of the ones that missed or removed their offer review date, 13%. So that's a really high percentage. There's only a couple, 5 or something. So it's pretty crazy. So setting an offer review date in King County looks like the right thing to do if you have the right property, for sure.
Yep, definitely.
Of the ones that did not set offer review dates, 53% were still on the market as of yesterday.
Boy.
So this is very, very recent data. You can see from this data that our 7-day data for next, our 7-day data will be a good number. It'll be much higher when I pull data on Sunday than it was this last Sunday. So
yeah.
we've got some really, really strong activity out there. And I will tell you, so many offers, buyers waiving all kinds of stuff, waiving financing, waiving inspections, releasing earnest money to the seller, large amounts of earnest money to the seller directly. It's pretty crazy out there. Some cash, a lot of cash. It's bananas. So at some point, we're going to start to see more early offers. I think we had only 6% of those sellers that set offer review dates received early offers. That number should start going up. Buyers are going to get really burned out on competing very quickly this spring because we've got too many buyers out there right now. We've got, 10, 20, 30 offers on a lot of homes. Very few of these received only 1 or 2 offers. Most of these sellers received many offers. And so it's very daunting as a buyer. So what you're going to want to do is get fully underwritten with your lender. You're going to want to try to submit an early offer within a day or 2 of it going on the market so other buyers don't have a chance to see it before the weekend, hopefully. And you may have to just justifying your own mind, paying over asking price. So if properties are typically going in a multiple offer situation, if they're typically going between 15 and 20% over with an offer review date, you're going to find a sweet spot where a seller might take an early offer at between 10 and 13%. If they're going over 20%, you're going to have to come up closer to 17%. But that's been my experience. That sweet spot to get an offer accepted early. And you just kind of have to fly blind, So getting that fully underwritten approval from your lender is going to be critical. And then we don't waive inspections, guys. We have inspections. So if you need to have that inspection before you make that offer or immediately within 24 hours, right? Sometimes sellers will go along with that. Inspection within 24 hours of submitting your offer and getting it accepted. That's another way to deal with the inspection situation. Releasing earnest money to the seller, I just completely find abhorrent. Don't do that. Anyway, that's Kat Howard's opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Buyers do not waive inspections. Buyers do not release money directly to the seller. Buyers have inspections and get fully underwritten.
I think those are all great pieces of advice.
Those are my rules.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Dan. What else?
All right, Kat. Well, we've got a lot of stuff for next week.
Dan didn't get to talk.
But I will give you
no airtime.
I'll give you a sneak preview of next week. That's really interesting. If our listeners or watcher viewers, whatever, are using Bitcoin, right, and they want to use Bitcoin as a down payment on their home, or if they want to buy their home 100% with Bitcoin or Ethereum, there's two of them, Bitcoin or Ethereum. We are making those loans now. It's really crazy, but it's really interesting. So you can actually get a loan against your Bitcoin or Ethereum and use it either for the down payment or for the full purchase of the house. So we'll have more details on that.
It used to be there were a lot of hoops to jump through, right, Dan? What they've done is they've streamlined the process for the cryptocurrency. Right.
Yeah.
So there's just less gyrations, less things you have to do to be able to utilize.
Well, there weren't many. Yeah, there weren't a lot of lending institutions that would accept it. Right. There were some private lenders.
You have to liquidate it, right? You'd have to liquidate it.
Usually, generally speaking, you have to liquidate it. What this does is you can avoid having to liquidate your Bitcoin if you don't want to.
Gotcha.
Because there was a thing called HODL. So I'll tell you a quick story about HODL, HODL, and this is, I think, back in 2013. And one of the fellows, I think it was on Reddit or something like that. They were, the Reddit stuff. They were talking about Bitcoin, and the legend has it that the guy had been drinking, and he puts up and he types into the Reddit thing HODL, HODL. But what he meant to type in was hold, HOLD, because he's just saying, hold your Bitcoin, hold your Bitcoin. And he typed in HODL, so that's what they call it, HODL now. Anyways. So, but anyways.
Yeah, you're quite the storyteller.
Yeah, so that's, but that's what we got. We've got that just came out about 11 days ago. I think it came out on the 6th. So, we're doing a pretty good job of staying on the cutting edge of lending right now. So I think we're doing a real good job. So I don't know how practical that is, but it makes for a good story. What can I tell you?
Hey,
so
somebody out there might be interested.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's definitely a place for that, and it's growing. And so it's, I think it's a very interesting. Right now, it's an interesting niche. In the future, it may be a lot more than a niche. It might be a lot more commonplace. Yeah. So we'll see. But but we'll have some details on that loan coming up. So, and with that, let's call it a day.
Are we wrapping up, Dan?
Let's wrap her up. Yes.
Okay. Bye, guys. It's been fun, Dan.
It's been fun, Kat. Say hello to Ann and to Gail for me.
Ann and Gail, yes, and here's Mr. Fat Tuesday's been wanting to show his little face on camera here. Here he is.
Oh, look at him there.
This is Mr. Fat Tuesday. He is all that and more.